Hello everybody and welcome to AYD Tech. In this video, we'll be looking at a short introduction to the Scratch software, which is the programming language that we will be using to make code in the future videos. Many of you may not know what Scratch is. So, Scratch is a free online software that you can use to make programs, animations, and games and pretty much anything you want. Plus, it's very user-friendly and easy to use. Unlike other languages such as C++ and Java, in which you have to type out the code in order to make it run, this language uses block code, which means that it has rectangular blocks that perform certain functions and are assigned to certain key colors so that you can navigate, and when you stack these blocks on top of one another, you can make a certain program. It's great for people who have zero experience in coding and programming and don't know where to start. Firstly, we'll look at how to sign in to the Scratch software as it is online. And for those of you who don't want to work on the online version, I'll tell you how to download the offline version of the Scratch program as well. Let's dive right into it. Okay, so now let's look at how to sign in to the Scratch online version so that you can make projects on it. Firstly, you want to go to the link scratch.mit.edu. This is the link for the Scratch online website. I'll stick this down in the description box below. You have a couple of buttons up here that we're going to talk about now. Also, if you scroll down, you can see projects that other people have made. Firstly, we have the Create button. The Create button allows you to make new projects and program with the Scratch software. Then we have the Explore button. This is a very useful button as when we click this, we can go and surf on the Scratch homepage and we can check out other projects that people have made. This can be helpful for getting inspiration to make projects, and if you're stuck on a similar project, then you can find one in the Explore option and you can see what code that person has used in order to make the project work. Then we have the Ideas button. When we click the Ideas button, we have an inbuilt tutorial that Scratch has for beginners. You can make various programs with these tutorials. For example, animate a name, imagine a world, making a chess game, and etc. These allow you to understand the fundamentals of the Scratch software. Then we have the About button. This button allows us to learn more about the Scratch software. This is great for beginners who don't know exactly what Scratch is and if it suits you or not. Right now, we'll be focusing on the Join Scratch and the Sign In button, as these are the buttons which will allow us to sign in to the Scratch software, make an account, and start coding on the Scratch software. If you already have a Scratch account, you can just click the Sign In button, enter your username here and your password here, and just click Sign In. On the other hand, if you don't have an account and you're just starting out, you can click Join Scratch. Once you click Join Scratch, it will open this page. Here, you can enter a username that other people will see when you share your projects in the Scratch community, and you can create a password, then type the password again to confirm it, and then click Next. I'll just put a random username such as Snowflake. Then I'll create a password for this account. Now, we'll go to type password again where we can confirm the password. After we've made that, we can click the Next button. Then it asks us for our location. So currently, you can choose like any country that you're in. For example, I'll just select Costa Rica. Then it asks us for our date of birth. I'll just enter a random month and year over here. But you can enter your real. Then it asks you your gender. So I'm male, so I'll just enter male. Then we can click next. Then it'll ask us for our email and password so that it can connect to us and send us other notifications that you need to know about in order to use the Scratch software. After that, you can click create your account and you're all good to go. After that, you can just go to the sign in, enter your username and password that you made while using your account, and then click sign in. Once you click sign in, you'll go to your account homepage. Here, you can see all the usual buttons that we had earlier, the search button in which you can browse projects, the what's happening, which tells you updates about Scratch, and the Scratch news, which will give you some important information that the Scratch makers have for you. The people who code on Scratch and program are called Scratchers. Here down below you can see featured projects, featured studios, which is like a collection of projects and other different projects. These projects make it to the home page by getting stars, loves and likes. Once you share your project on the Scratch community, people can opt to this. And if they get a certain number of loves, likes and stars, they can make it onto the home page. Now we'll see how to make a new project in Scratch. Firstly, you want to click the My Stuff icon up here. This looks like a folder. You also have an icon next to it called the Messages icon that looks like an envelope. This gives you latest updates that the Scratch makers send to all Scratchers, that is, people who use the Scratch software in order to program. To make a new project, click the My Stuff icon. You can see all the projects that you have made in your last Scratch activity. Here are some of the projects that I have made. You can also see the trash icon, your studios, which is like a collection of projects, unshared and shared projects. To make a new project, just go up to this icon over here that says New Project. This takes us to the Scratch editor where we can program our project. This Scratch editor has a couple of areas that I will explain to you now. The first area of the Scratch interface is the stage area. This is where you can see your program, game or animation run once you code it. Then we have the sprites. Sprites are basically the characters of your project. By default, Scratch has this cat, hence the name. Then we have backdrops. Backdrops are just like the backgrounds in your project. By default, Scratch sets this to backdrop 1, which is just a plain white backdrop. You can go to the backdrops pane up here and you can go into the backdrops inbuilt library to select what backdrop you want. There are a ton of options to choose from. Then, if we go back to the sprites, we can also see that we have this cat icon here, which says choose a sprite. You can either search for a sprite in the inbuilt library that Scratch has. Also, you can upload or paint sprites. Then, we look at the scripts area. The scripts area is where we drag our code blocks from here in order to make them function. Now, if I change this to 100 steps, which means 100 on the x-axis, and if we click on it in order to make it function, you can see that the cat has moved from here to here, just like this block insists. So, whichever blocks you drag into this code area or scripts area will function once you click this green flag. The green flag is a symbol for go in order to run your project, and the stop button tells you to stop your project from running. Now we look at this pane, which consists of all the code blocks. Code blocks are what you stack on top of one another in order to make a program. You can stack them in different orders as well. We have many different types of blocks such as statement blocks, sensor blocks, loop blocks, header blocks, etc., which we'll talk about in future videos. There are many types of blocks. There are actually 9 types. These are motion, looks, sound, events, control, sensing, operators, variables, and Y blocks. We'll talk about each of these in detail in future videos. You can see that the sprites have 3 panes up here. The first pane is the code pane, that is this already that we have talked about. Then we have the costumes pane in which you can paint your sprite however you want. Also, you can make new sprites as well. The third pane is the sounds pane. This controls the sounds that the sprites make after it touches or senses something. You can make sprites play sounds through this sound category of code. We'll talk about this in detail in future videos. Right now, we also have the File button, which helps us to make a new project, save a copy, or load a project from your computer if you have the offline version of Scratch. We also have some tutorials up here, which are the same that we get in the Ideas button. We can also rename our project over here, and we can share the project to the Scratch community once it is completed. can also see the project page once it is shared. We also have the backpack down here, which allows us to store code in it, just like this. If we drag a code block into here, it actually gets added into the backpack. This helps because when you open a different project from My Stuff, you can just open the backpack and take whatever script from there you have and load it into this area. So that's it for the areas of the Scratch pane, and in future videos we'll see how to program your characters, change backgrounds, make games, animations, etc. in the Scratch software. But firstly, we'll look at how to download the offline version for Scratch for those of you who don't want to program in the online version. Okay, so now let's look at how to download the offline version. I've come back to my account home page. Firstly, I'll log out from my account. Then you want to go to the following link, scratch.mit.edu/download. I'll stick this link down in the description box below. Once you go to this link, you can see we have a page called Download the Scratch app. This program runs on Windows 10, Mac OS, Chrome OS and Android. You can choose your software over here first. Then you can see that we have this first step. You can either get the Scratch app on the Microsoft Store or you can just go on direct download. Once you click this, we have a Scratch download setup that will just download over here. This will take a little bit of time to download depending on the speed of your computer. Okay, so you can see that my setup has downloaded right here. I'm going to right click and run this. Once it opens, you can see a dialog box which helps you to install the Scratch software. Okay guys, so that's it for this video, and in future videos we'll see how to make programs, games and animations with the Scratch software on either the offline or the online version. This series will be using the online version though. It really doesn't make a difference. If you like this video, then make sure to hit that like button, turn on notifications and subscribe to this channel to help me a lot. That's it for this video guys, and thanks for watching.